So in this video I'm going to be discussing one random and weird fact for every single board in the Mario Party series. And I'm going to go in order of the numbered games and then just do all of like the spin-offs and non-numbered ones afterwards. But all that matters is that I'm covering every single board except for, I guess, like the solo ones in Mario Party 7 and then like pretty much any of the world boards in Star Rush, because I don't know if those even really count. But anyway, to get right into it, Mario Party 1, you start with DK's Jungle Adventure, and in every single board in this game, once you finish it, there's a little winner cutscene showing some special thing happening with the power stars collected by the players. And for this map, the winner gets a golden banana. And what's strange about this is that golden bananas eventually became the main collectible item in Donkey Kong 64, which was released very shortly after Mario Party 1 was, especially for US releases. Peach's birthday cake. Peach is the only playable character without a decoration on the cake, at least from this game. However, if you view the full map, you can actually see she has a decoration, it's just off to the side in a random bowl. Yoshi's Tropical Island. The islands are Yoshi-shaped in the original, but much less so in the Superstars remake, and also the island in the back had an apple on it originally, but not in Superstars. For Wario's Battle Canyon, the Wario face mountain in the center sort of resembles what would eventually become the sort of Mount Rushmore thing that they have in Mario Party 3 on the hub world, where each character you beat the story mode with gets their face in the mountain. Luigi's Engine Room. The ship at the end is very similar to that seen in the Rainbow Ride level in Mario 64. Mario's Rainbow Castle. Fwoosh, which is an enemy from Mario 64. It's replaced with just a regular Lockatoo's cloud for some reason in the Jamboree remake of this board, which is kind of sad because they've really just been forgetting about Fwoosh as an enemy in recent years. Bowser's Magma Mountain. To unlock it, you have to play the 6 boards that precede it, and you buy it with 980 coins, which is a really random number, but assuming you were to only play each board one time to unlock the board as soon as possible without having to redo any of them to keep collecting coins, you would need 164 coins per board, or if you're playing with 4 human players where it'll then account for all of them and the money they made, each person would need about 41 coins per board. Eternal Star, similarly, for this one you need to do past 7 boards, including Magma Mountain now, and you then need 100 stars collected. So again, if you were to try and only do each board once, to get this as soon as possible, you would need about 15 stars per game, or about 4 per player if you're doing 4 people. Moving on to Mario Party 2, Pirate Land. It features some chain chomp-shaped cages and jails in the bottom left corner, which is probably referencing the Behind Chain Chomp's Gate level in Bob-omb Battlefield in Mario 64. Western Land, the original version features a graveyard that was just left out in the Jamboree remake for some reason. Spaceland, the map features a purple ringed planet in the background, which is later seen at the ending of the board, and also the toad houses from the top of the map are also seen in the board's ending, implying that the ending cutscene takes place somewhere that way, facing in the direction of that purple planet that you can see in the background. Mystery Land, Dory can be faintly seen in the background, although it's not really confirmed if that's Dory or not. It could just be a Loch Ness monster, but Dory's pretty much the only one in the series, so it makes sense if that's Dory. Horrorland, there appears to be blood on the board, but if you look, you can actually see that it's just coming out of a big ketchup bottle, which is a neat little detail. And lastly, Bowserland, there is a roller coaster on the board that leads right into the lava, which is also a pretty cool detail. Mario Party 3, we start with Chilly Waters. The trees on this board resemble the ones in Mario 64, especially the ones that appear in Cool Cool Mountain because of the snow on them. And what's notable about that is that none of the other trees in the boards in this game look like the ones from Mario 64. Like that weird star-shaped spiky pattern. Deep Blubber Sea, there's a sort of Ouroboros thing going on here, where there's a crab pinching at an eel, and the eel is biting a shark, who is then biting another eel, who is biting that crab. Very weird. Spiny Desert. At first I thought the upper half was like a dark, evil, parallel version of the bottom half, but you can actually see that it's just supposed to be nighttime in that half while it's day in the bottom half. Because there's an oasis built into the map in the top half, and you can actually see the moon in the reflection of the water, implying that it's just night on half of the board and not night on the other half. Which is actually notable because Horrorland was the map that actually literally introduced the day-night mechanic that Mario Party 6 then rolled with, But now that I think about it, Woody Woods kind of does the same thing, because the area where Evil Woody is, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be night in that part of the board as well. And then Chilly Waters, the upper half of that map, is also nighttime because all of the houses have their Christmas lights illuminating it. Woody Woods, there are 3 colored rabbits visible on this board, orange, pink, and yellow ones, which happen to be the colors of Wario's, Mario's, and Yoshi's rabbits in Mario 64 DS. Creepy Cavern, there are rocks in the background that are shaped like monsters, one of which actually resembles Bogmire, which is a boss from Luigi's Mansion, which came out the same year as Mario Party 3 in America. And lastly, Waluigi's Island, there's like a Waluigi branded can that has crushed what was apparently Luigi's house on this board, and you can also see Waluigi's house in the background, I guess replacing Luigi's. Moving on to Mario Party 4, we have Toad's Midway Madness. It has the most mushroom spaces in the game, being 18, which may have been on purpose since it is Toad's map. Shy Guy's Jungle Jam, Klepto is in this board, and practically this is the only time he's ever seen in a jungle setting, aside from a desert setting, unless you count the Lost Kingdom in Odyssey. Goomba's Greedy Gala, there are a lot of coins scattered across this board, and they more closely resemble bells from Animal Crossing than coins from the actual Mario series. Mario Party 4 and the original Animal Crossing both happen to come out the same year in the US though, which is interesting, but I doubt there's actually a connection there. Boo's Haunted Bash, there are ghostly instruments on the board, including a violin and a piano, which is very similar to what later appeared in the Superstars remake of Horrorland. Koopa Seaside Soiree, the story mode minigame for this board was remade in the top 100 as a duel game as opposed to a story mode minigame. So in that version of it, it's actually 2 human players battling instead of 1 human and a bot. And Bowser's Gnarly Party, despite being the Bowser map of the game, Shy Guy's Jungle Jam can actually have the most Bowser spaces at once, not this one. In this game, that is. Moving on to Mario Party 5, we have Toy Dream. The Bowser head in this map is very similar to what was later used in Mario Party 7's Bowser board. Rainbow Dream, only the Sun Island is playable in the story mode version of this map, not the other 3. Pirate Dream, the skeleton on the board may be a large Rex from Super Mario World, considering its nose horn, but also sort of resembles a real-world Ceratosaurus dinosaur. Undersea Dream, the sunken ship is clearly designed to look like a fish, and it even has a smaller fish-shaped lifeboat attached to it. Future Dream, it features 3 rockets that are very similar in design and color to those in Mario Party 9's Launch Break minigame. Sweet Dream, there's a missing piece of icing in the pattern on one of the cakes. So I don't know if that was a mistake or something, but it's definitely noticeable. And Bowser Nightmare, the flames of the torches on this board are actually potaboos, not just regular, like, candle flames. Mario Party 6, we have Towering Treetop. Woody has a nose on this map, but in all of his other appearance, being Mario Party 2, 3, and Superstars, he does not have a nose. Egad's Garage, this is the only indoor map in the game, but you can still tell when it becomes night for some reason because it still becomes dark, even though if you're inside, there would just be lights to keep it light. Fair Square, the central plaza seems to be shaped like a sun and moon, going off the game's theme of day and night. Snowflake Lake, it features a very similar skeleton design to Western Land, and you'll see something else that I'm going to discuss in a little bit. Next up, Castaway Bay, Bowser's boat resembles the boat from Mario Party 2's version of the Bombs Away minigame. Clockwork Castle, the game description for this board says Bowser will steal from you if you land on his space. However, he'll also steal from you if you just simply pass him or he passes you, so it's not just you have to land on his space. Moving on to Mario Party 7, Grand Canal. This is the 3rd board in the series to feature a giant blooper on it, the past ones being Deep Bloober Sea and Bowser Land, all 3 of which, however, are from different games in the series, being 2, 3, and 7 here, and also they all have different settings, being underwater, a fiery setting, and an above water setting. Pagoda Peak, the game says this board is 4,000 years old. Pyramid Park, once again, as I mentioned, I would bring up again here, it features a very similar, if not the same skeleton as Snowflake Lake from the previous game, which then also makes it similar to the one in Western Land. And as for Snowflake Lake, both of these having a very similar skeleton, it's weird because these are both boards with the same exact gimmick of stealing stars with chain jumps. So that was very likely intentional. Neon Heights, this map gimmick was reused in DS for Kamek's Library. Windmillville, it's based in the Netherlands, And there are 3 different flower patches that resemble flags, just in the sense that they're like stripes of colors. However, as far as I could tell, none of them actually resemble any real-world flags, and you think if they did, it would be the Netherlands, but they don't. However, the one resembles what was Chile's, or I don't know how to pronounce the country, Chile's flag from 1812 to 1814. Bowser's Enchanted Inferno, it's the only board with an exclamation mark in its name in the entire series. Mario Party 8, DK's Treetop Temple. It features a DK statue, very similar to DK's Stone statue, the board from Mario Party DS. Both of these games were of course released in the same year as Hudson's final Mario Parties. Goomba's Booty Boardwalk. It is the first time the Piantas appear in Mario Party. Surprisingly, they didn't in any of the GameCube games, despite debuting in Sunshine. King Boo's Haunted Hideaway. Similar to the Piantas, this is the first time King Boo makes an appearance in the Mario Party series, despite also originating on the GameCube. Shy Guy's Perplex Express. DK's train appears to be based on the Barrel Train, or just very similar to the Barrel Train, which is from Mario Kart. Koopa's Tycoon Town. If one player, and this is more of like a literal fact than just some weird shower thought than the other ones, because I just thought this one was really cool, and I didn't even know this until now. If one player or team puts 100 coins into a hotel, they permanently own it and no one else can steal it on this board. And lastly, Bowser's Warped Orbit. It's the only board in the game with unique candies, being the Bullet Bill and Bowser candy. As for Mario Party 9, starting with Toad Road, the board resembles the new Super Mario Bros. Grass and Jungle worlds, and the fact that the end of it resembles the Jungle world and the beginning resembles the Grass world. For this map, the final boss is Wiggler, and typically in New Super Mario Bros. Games, you will find Wigglers in the Jungle world, so that was probably intentional and a nice nod to those games. Bob-omb Factory, the boss vehicle for this board is the Bob-omb Bus, which is called a bus, despite not being a bus or looking like a bus, because it doesn't have wheels at all, it has mechanical legs. Boo's Horror Castle, it's called that instead of King Boo's Horror, wow, I can't say this. This does not roll off the tongue easily. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is it should be called King Boo's and not Boo's, because it's quite obviously King Boo, he is the boss of the thing, but yeah. Anyway, Blooper Beach, it is technically the first board to be named after bloopers, because there is Deep Blooper Sea in 3, but that used their original name Bloober with a B instead of a P. Magma Mine, the sub-boss is Spike, and his boss battle, the scenery there is clearly inside of a volcano, which makes sense because when you do that boss fight, the sub-boss for the level, you're still in the volcano, and the final boss is Chain Chomp, which is visibly on top of a mountain or a volcano, which is where you do the final fight outside of the volcano. Bowser Station. Unlike most final boards, which require either beating the story mode or playing all of the other boards, this one you can actually do either of the two. You can either beat the story mode to get it, or you can just play all the other boards. DK Jungle Ruins. The boss vehicle isn't actually based on the boss, which would technically be Donkey Kong. Instead, it's just bananas, because pretty much all the other maps, the boss vehicle is literally based on the boss. Mario Party 10, we start with Mushroom Park. It is not only now the 4th map with a large blooper featured in it, but also the second one where the blooper in question is in the form of a carousel ride, the other being Bowser Land. And also, again, like the last time I mentioned this, all 4 boards now are from different games, 2, 3, 7, and 10, and they're still all different sceneries, this one now being Grassland, unlike the previous Above Water, Underwater, and Fire. Haunted Trail. The boss vehicle is very similar to the one from Boo's Horror Castle in the previous game. Whimsical Waters, the 3 vehicles are very similar to the 3 from Blooper Beach in the previous game. Airship Central, the sub-boss is Monty Mole, maybe a reference to how rocky wrenches are usually seen on airships in Super Mario Bros. 3 and other games. And lastly, Chaos Castle. This one's really weird. So usually the final board in Mario Parties, they're named after Bowser, but this one isn't named after Bowser. Instead, it's not really named after anything, but its name starts with C, and the second word in the name is Castle. And as specific as that is, it's weirdly not the first time this happened, as there's also Clockwork Castle from Mario Party 6, which was that game's final board, and here we have Chaos Castle, neither of which are named after Bowser like they usually are. Now moving into the non-numbered ones, for DS we have Wiggler's Garden. The special flowers you can encounter on event spaces on this board actually have names, these being the tricolored flowers, the fly far flowers, and the bank bulbs. Toadette's Music Room, it is actually the board depicted on the box art of the game. DK Stone Statue, excluding the Bowser board, it has the least Bowser spaces in the game, maybe referencing the fact that DK is usually like the foil or the good side to Bowser in Mario Party. Kamek's Library, the story mode shows it in the same jungle or forest as the DK map, which is weird. And Bowser's Pinball Machine, it has the least Bowser spaces in the game, being literally 0, unless you count the 5 event spaces in the Bowser zone on the map, because they're pretty much Bowser spaces, just special ones, but they technically are event spaces. So if you do count those 5, that would make it have the most Bowser spaces in the game, but really they're not Bowser spaces. For Island Tour Perilous Palace Path, each word in its name has 2 less letters than the last. Rocket Road is the only time Lumas appear in a map in Mario Party. Shy Guy Shuffle City, it is the only regular board in all of Mario Party to actually need more than 1 human player. Bonsai Bill's Mad Mountain is the only board in the entire series to have 2 alliterations in its name. Starcross Skyway, this board is the only time the Bone Goomba enemy ever appears in the series. Kamek's Carpet Ride, the 2 mansions actually have unique layouts. The green mansion has backspaces and the orange one has dash spaces. And Bowser's Peculiar Peak, for whatever reason, it's actually called something different in the British version of the game, being Bowser's Bizarre Volcano, and as far as I can tell, this is the only board that is called something different in the British version. For Super Mario Party, we have Whomp's Domino Ruins. It has the most spaces of the 4 boards in the game at 58, which is weird because it's the first one. King Bob-omb's Powder Keg Mine. The Bob-omb ally thing that you can get in the game seems to sort of be inspired by the Bob-omb Factory map from Mario Party 9. The Bob-omb gimmick that has, where they will follow you and then blow up on the leader. Mega Fruit Paradise. One of the islands is a watermelon, and there happens to be an island literally called the Watermelon Island in Yoshi's Tropical Island, the board from Mario Party 1. And Tantalizing Tower, it has the least spaces of the boards in Super Mario Party, being 29, which is weird because it's the final board. And lastly, Jamboree, we have Mega Wiggler's Tree Party. It is the only board to have the word party in its name, which is funny because this is Mario Party. Roll'em Raceway is the only board ever to feature a bruiser. Goomba Lagoon has the shortest name of either of the Super Mario Party games. Rainbow Galleria is the only map where the Super Dueling Glove can be bought. And finally, King Bowser's Keep is the only Bowser board to technically not be owned or run by Bowser himself, as it's actually Imposter Bowser. So yeah, that was one random fact or shower thought thing for every Mario Party board. If you like this, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and thanks for watching.